to Doctrine and Devotion, the podcast that explores Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I am the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jimmy Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship.
So what percentage of our people do you think hit forward twice at the beginning of the episode so they can skip that? Do you think anybody does that? What percentage? What do you think?
I don't know, 30%?
30%? Sounds about right. That sounds about right.
30%.
I mean, because some people don't care, don't pay attention, but I'm a guy that will skip through
the intro part.
I listen to
Sasquatch Chronicles?
No, True Crime Garage, right? And I really like the True Crime Garage. Like these two guys in a garage, and they talk about true crime, as you might have guessed.
I'm like, wow, a little on the nose there.
Yeah. So I don't know why I explained it, because the title does tell you. But they do 3 minutes of here's the beers that we're drinking. Here's some shout outs to some people.
Yeah.
I don't care. Well,
that makes sense. 3 minutes. We typically don't do 3 minutes.
No, it's 30 seconds. But banter.
But the banter part. Yeah. So I could see now when we get to banter, I think that goes up to 45%.
Now, based on the emails that we get, I don't think so. We get way too many positive, I came for the theology, I stay for the banter kind of things. That's another t-shirt idea.
That's a good t-shirt idea.
But I'm sure there are people, because especially if there's a particular thing they're interested in, let's get to it. I want to get to the thing. I get that. And by the way, that's I don't complain about the beer discussion at the front of True Crime Garage, because I can just skip it. I don't know why people
they don't want to have to go through the act of skipping.
I know. Well,
or maybe they're in the car.
That's why their thumbs are all
Can you
weak.
do it? Can you do it in the car?
Yeah,
on the screen there, you can do it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I just use my phone.
What do you mean?
When I'm skipping.
I know, but when you're in the car.
Yeah. Oh, yes. No, I would just use the screen then.
Does your car have a screen?
Of course it does. Yeah.
Actually, no, it really does it?
Yeah. Apple CarPlay.
All right.
Yeah. But I still use my phone.
Yeah, because you cannot let go of your phone.
You
really do have a problem.
I can let go of it, but I have to be able to see it.
No. That's not true.
I can set it on my leg.
No, you cannot. You put it in between your legs.
Nope, on my leg.
So that when you get a notification, you feel it right away.
Actually, I put it kind of in between my legs, but on the seat under my butt a little bit.
I know.
So it doesn't slide around. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. And it doesn't vibrate, so you're wrong there.
All right, well then, fine.
And when it's plugged in, it rings through the whole car. And I do answer when I talk on the phone, I hit the button on the screen.
Does your thing really have a screen?
Of course it does.
I don't think it does.
It does. It is Apple CarPlay.
They didn't have that in 2008.
This is a 2018 Hyundai, whatever it is, Elantra.
All right.
Yeah. My wife, she just got for the first time, she got a new vehicle. She got
nice.
The Chevy Traverse. She loves it.
Good.
And it's got Apple CarPlay and all that stuff, and she's never had anything.
Yeah, I want to thank your wife for that. I just want to thank your wife.
She restoked the fires in your wife's heart for a vehicle.
Yeah.
You just bought her one, though. I don't know what the problem is.
Well, 2017.
Yeah.
Which is fine to me.
Yeah, it's great.
That works great.
Except it's not the one she wanted. It doesn't have any. It doesn't have any of the features she wanted either.
What, 4 wheels?
Nah, that wasn't
Safety
a feature.
rating?
Nope. That's standard stuff.
Good on gas mileage?
I think she wanted 3 rows.
It has 3 rows. It's got 3 rows.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm driving it today.
Are you sure?
It's better on gas than my car. So I was like, I'm driving this gas.
That's better on gas in your car? Oh,
of course it does.
How would I know? I don't know how that stuff works.
Yeah, it's definitely better on gas. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely better than Jen's. That Chevy Traverse is kind of big. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm glad you're feeling the pressure. Get her what she wants.
My gosh, I knew something was up when, after they were over, all of a sudden Michelle wanted to start talking, hey, we should for date night, should we go look at cars? And I was like,
where did this come from?
What kind of date night is this?
That's hours of of arguing with somebody. That's what going to the dealer is.
Exactly. What am I going to sit there and do? Hey, here I am, dressed for a date night. Show me that back seat. What are you going to do? I just don't. What kind of date night idea was that?
It is get me a car. That's what that really is.
I'm like sitting there going, man, and then you tell me Jen just got a new car. I'm like, oh, there it is. There it is.
It's really nice. It's she got it with 20,000 miles on it, so it's pretty new. And she's really, really happy. And we're going on sabbatical. I'm driving down to Florida.
Nice. Gonna take that one?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, of course. You're not gonna take yours.
Yeah, it's got all the room, and it's got because this is the first time it's pretty. It's 2019, so it's pretty new for us. And but like every state, there's USB ports at every seat and all that stuff. Nice. And just the first time Jen's had heated seats, she's never had her own heated seats. So you should, All right, we should get into this email.
Oh, well, hold on. Welcome back, 40% people that skipped over everything.
All right, and we're ready to finally get into it. And by the way, we just gave away the winning lottery ticket for $1.6 billion that we bought and wherever. But you missed it because you skipped it. We got an email from somebody, and I really appreciate this email because the guy is just like super honest about where he's at and what his struggle is, and I want him to know that like you're not alone in this. Like this is pretty common stuff. All right, what's up? What do you got? Oh, you're bringing up the email.
Yeah, I'm bringing up the email.
It's on your phone.
Yeah, I'll read it.
Read it.
I confess that the only time I pray is with my wife over our food. I could only count on one hand the number of times I prayed any by myself or with my wife before we go to bed in weeks. It's just hard for me to pray. I either don't know what to say or just have a really hard time saying it. I fumble words or just can't seem to find them.
Yeah, and this is like important because if you fumble your words, Jesus tunes out. He does.
You fumble words, you fumble the prayer.
That's right. God rolls his eyes and turns away. That's what happens every time. Like seriously, brother, like every Christian experiences this. Sometimes it's at the beginning of their walk. Sometimes it's right in the middle, and things change for them. Mm-hmm. But here's the bottom line is everybody has to be taught how to pray or retaught. Right?
Oh yeah.
Because like it's not it should be like a natural part, and we're made for it. But
I think we kind of present it as this is easy.
It's just praying.
It's just prayer. Just talk to the Lord. Look, we're just going to do it every time we get together in our community or Bible study groups. We're going to pray in the middle of the service. Mm-hmm. I mean, and we're used to hearing others that, especially on a Sunday morning, right?
Yeah,
they've got lots of experience.
Right,
they have lots of experience. Mm-hmm. They've got plenty of time, and they've oftentimes probably spend a little bit of time even before the Sunday morning kind of going over here's what we're going to be praying about.
Yeah.
So there's a preparation that goes into it.
And so they see that and they're like, I don't pray like that.
I don't pray like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, people, some people are, I think, and I'm just thinking out loud here. Mm-hmm. This has just popped into my head. I've never had this thought before.
Oh, here we go.
It could be garbage. It could be hot garbage.
Let's find out.
I wonder if some people who struggle conversationally find prayer difficult as well, and if some people who are wordsmiths and really like to talk to people have an easier time with prayer. Now, that's not the deep part of prayer, but I just wonder if there's something there. Like maybe if you're a quiet person that doesn't excel in conversations. Like you can excel in conversations and still struggle with prayer. So
yeah,
I'm
of
not
course,
saying
of course.
It's automatic.
But I do think I think there's something there, Joe. Right? Like if someone is, I don't want to say, no, that's the wrong word. I think the way you phrase it is the best, right? If
you're trying to not say socially awkward.
Yes, that's exactly. That was
like, I can see it in your eyes. It's like I want to say socially awkward.
I know, but you can't. But that's not fair, right? Like that's. I don't think that's.
But look, I'm socially awkward. I've just learned to mask it, like, or maybe not sometimes. Mm-hmm. So that's just a thought, right? Like, okay, if you struggle in conversation in general, then you might struggle initially, even just with prayer. Like, well, I don't know what to say to my neighbor.
How do you start? Yeah,
God?
Yeah, exactly.
And then
how
you
do you start? How do you begin?
On top of it, He's holy, just, and good, and all that.
Yeah, I'm not worthy. Like this is, Yeah. There's so much wrapped up into that. But I mean, even you would think then, though, and you would think the disciples would have known how. Here they are.
Oh, they did. That's because they were the disciples. That's why they were chosen.
That's why they're chosen, because of their
prayer warriors.
The prayer warriors. They had the armor. They had it all. They were good to go.
Remember that Nightmare on Elm Street? Prayer warriors. Yeah.
What?
No, Dream Warriors. Never mind. Go ahead.
What is this?
It was number 3 in the.
I don't. You know what?
It's fine.
I honestly don't remember them that much.
No, I imagine.
Yeah. I didn't really watch them.
That's what I guess. You're like, all right.
I was a little afraid. But now, even the disciples, though, needed to be taught how to pray, right? In Luke 11:1 says, "Now Jesus was praying in a certain place, and when he finished, one of his disciples said to him, 'Lord, teach us to pray as John taught his disciples.'"
Almost as if it seems to be the thing that disciples are taught how to pray.
Yeah. And yeah, so I mean, why did the disciples need to be taught how to pray?
Yeah.
Because sin has made prayer difficult for us.
Yeah, man. It's just, whether it's a weakness of faith or whether it's just like confusion about how to approach it. I mean, a lot of it, like, we're made for communion with God.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the garden, right? Just great communion. As soon as sin enters, man, Adam's hiding
away,
diving under the bush, trying to hide himself. So yeah, this has impacted how we even begin to approach prayer. So let's talk about some things that people tend to find hard about prayer.
Okay,
right. So like I one of the things that comes to mind is form. Like, what should it look like? Like literally, like some people like. Does it matter if I'm kneeling? Should I sit?
Is it verbalized?
Does it need to be out loud? Can I do it while I'm praying? You won't believe
Wait,
how
can
many,
I do what?
Can I do while I'm driving? Can I pray while I'm driving? That's what I mean.
Can I pray while I'm praying?
Well, no, technically no. Now you're confusing yourself. That's a you get feedback if you pray while you're praying.
That's inception.
It's like whoop, and it doesn't work. Like over the years, I've had people ask me, is it inappropriate to pray while I'm going to the bathroom? Like, they ask because they don't know. And I'm like, no, I think there's different kinds of prayer. There's formal, informal, spontaneous kind of things, but yeah, so I think form is confusing because we just don't know. Maybe we don't see very much of it modeled. So you're not exactly sure, or maybe you only see it modeled in a couple of ways. And so you're not sure like what is,
what's appropriate, what's not. Yeah. Content. Right? Like, what should the substance of my prayer be? What's allowed? What's appropriate?
Yeah.
Like, is it, how does it start? Like, how do you kind of enter into it? Yeah. Right?
I like to start with glossolalia.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Really?
Tongues, yeah.
Yes.
Tongue talking. Yeah. That's what I do.
Lead into it with that. You just lead in with that. Well, for the rest of us, it's like, is praying for... Is praying for my sick dog, is that appropriate?
Right.
Like, it's
not very spiritual.
It's not very spiritual. Is it, praying for my employment, praying for
finances, desire, future spouse.
Like,
is that selfish? Am I allowed?
What's appropriate in the midst of our prayer?
Yep. Yeah, that's good. I think another thing that makes prayer hard for people because of sin is unfamiliarity. It's like, oh, well, it feels weird when I pray. And you've heard this a bunch too, right? When I start to do this, it just feels fake. It doesn't feel natural. And the response is always, well, of course it doesn't feel natural. You haven't been doing it. Yeah. So it's going to feel unnatural until it becomes natural. Like that's any new discipline
is a struggle at first.
Yeah. Like I can remember, like, okay, everybody, I don't know, maybe everybody doesn't know. I don't like drinking water. I think water's the worst to drink.
I don't understand you. How do you not drink water every day?
Because I'd rather just swallow my spit. It's just gross.
Why? What is wrong?
It doesn't have any taste. It's just flat. It just. Ugh.
I think it's just because you're used to this water.
What?
Like, I think you're just used to here. Like,
no, it's not that. It's not that. And here's how I know it's not that. Because when for a long time, I drank a ton of water every day, and I loved it, and my body craved it, and I was like, "This is so
as it
satisfying."
should.
Yeah, it's supposed to, right? And so it's like if right now, if I were to start drinking water like regularly, it would be a struggle. I'd be like, I don't enjoy this. This is not my thing. I like seltzer water, carbonated. I like that. That's my thing. But if I started drinking it, it would feel unnatural at first until it became a part of it, and then I would be like, oh no, I actually like this. This is a good thing.
I just don't understand you.
Yeah, well, you're not supposed to understand me. You're just supposed to love me.
Despite your anti-water stance?
Yeah, I love you despite your avoidance of good film.
We're not putting Nightmare on Elm Street as...
First of all, A Nightmare on Elm Street, classic, goes in the Pantheon. Anyway.
I'm positive I've watched 1 through 3.
Nobody should watch 2. 1 was good, really good. 3 was fun. I was just on the Popcorn Theology podcast talking about Black Phone. Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know whenever it drops, I'll let everybody know.
Oh, okay.
If you like that kind of thing. All right. So unfamiliarity, man, it just feels weird. And so people are like, oh, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel natural. I'm out. If it doesn't feel good, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
To go deeper in the Word, to grow theologically and to become a better teacher or preacher of the Word, we need good tools and the right library. For those who want to go deep and grow with the best resources, we recommend Logos Bible Software. Logos fuses powerful technology with biblical resources. Access Bibles, search tools, commentaries, seminary-level courses, and even audiobooks right on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Logos offers nearly 200,000 digital books from the world's top publishers. Logos editions have been turbocharged with powerful data that connect them with the rest of your library. So whether you're comparing Bible translations, tackling tough topics, or studying deep theological issues, Logos has you covered. You can go on to digging into the original language resources, even if you don't know Greek or Hebrew. Logos will even help you pronounce the words. Now, listen, we could list all of the scholars that they want us to point to who are using Logos, but honestly, we use Logos Bible Software. I just asked Jimmy the other day, how many days a week do you use Logos? And he said, at least 7. I mean, I use them every day of the week, multiple times a day, and so do I. I use it for sermon prep. I use it for research. I use it for writing new books that I'm working on and personal devotions. Now, you can get started with Logos today for under $50. Go to logos.com/Jofo. For under $50, you can get started today. Hit up logos.com/JOFO.
But then I think a fourth thing that's hard about prayer because of sin is doubt, right?
Oh, yeah.
It feels like God doesn't hear me. Like,
Yeah, I've
is
heard
he
people
really
say that.
listening? Is he
Yeah.
really hearing me? Is he really listening? Does this matter? You
Yeah.
know, am I just going through the motions? Is anybody out there?
I remember I had a guy tell me one time, and it was weird because I hadn't experienced this yet, but I was a brand new Christian. And he was like, I feel like my prayers are just bouncing off the ceiling. And he was talking about a feeling because he knows the truth. He knew oh no, God hears my prayers through Jesus Christ. But he's like, it just feels like they're nothing's there. Yeah, that's a faith issue, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so for this guy that's writing in, how can we encourage him to begin rebuilding his prayer life? We've drawn up 8 things that you can do. You may choose to do any or all of these. And I would say, number 1, start small.
Yeah.
Don't like, I'm going to start a prayer journal, and you go and you buy like a leather-bound hardcover.
Here's my journal, 20 minutes a day.
Yeah, and then
right in the morning.
3 days later, you've got one entry. It's a half a sentence, and you're like, "Why did I buy this $20 journal or $50 journal or whatever it is?" But start small. Like, you don't need to make huge commitments, right? So, just begin with, I'm going to attempt. I'm going to really pursue praying on a daily basis.
Yep.
Give yourself a time slot.
Number 2, keep it simple.
Yeah, that's nice.
Just
you don't have
to make it all this like fluff. You don't have to make a big show of it. You don't have to light some candles and make sure you have your coffee with your Bible and your overhead shot and make sure you post that on Instagram.
It doesn't count. Did it really happen if there isn't an Instagram post?
Well, just keep it simple. Just focus on. Well, we'll go through some of the aspects of what to focus on within a prayer down the line. But
I think small and simple are very closely related, right? So you don't have to make giant commitments, and it doesn't have to be anything ornate or overly complicated. So one of the things that Jimmy and I recommend to people a lot is follow an outline. Because a lot of people don't, like, I've sent to wander, my mind wanders, and I don't really know what I'm doing. If you have an outline to follow, like a very simple outline, then when you do wander, because you will wander, I got to come back here, is where I'm at. The model that we've talked about on the podcast before, though I couldn't find the episode, I did find an article, so we'll link to that, is the ACTS model of prayer, ACTS. Jimmy, what is, it's an acronym, right?
Yep.
Is it an acrostic or an acronym, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Exactly.
Each letter stands for a word.
I know. You have adoration, confession, thanksgiving, supplication.
And this has framed most of my prayers for most of my Christian walk, to be honest. It's just because I was taught early, and now it's just, I don't think about it. It just tends to be the
to
flow.
me, it makes sense to me, right? Because oftentimes, early on, I would gravitate towards one.
Yeah.
Right? I would gravitate towards really just supplication.
Supplication, yeah.
Just supplication.
Give me my needs. Give me my needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
give me a girl. That's a big one for single guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where's my lady?
Yep. Where my lady at? But yeah, no, starting with adoration, right? Lord, I adore you. You are worthy. You are wonderful. You are forgiving. You are merciful. I am not worthy to be here. And yet you hear me. You care for me. You care for the needs. And, like just being able to give, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's worship.
Yeah.
It's worship and declaring who God is and what he has done.
And it's important when you're looking at this to recognize like why the flow matters. Now, this is not the only way to pray, but there is an intentional flow here. Like Jimmy's talking about, like this is praise, right? This is it's different from Thanksgiving, though it's related. Thanksgiving comes later. But this is not thank you for, this is I am amazed at your
I'm amazed of.
Look at what you have done for me. Look at who you are. So it's adoration is really a reflection, or it's a joyful meditation on the person and work of God. You could think about it like that. And this is where, like, this really shows the necessity of theology, right? Because you can't adore God for being holy, just, and good if you don't know what it means that God is holy, just, and good. And the more theology you unpack, the more theology you understand should lead to a more robust adoration in prayer. We also have confession. So you said adoration. Confession is C. Confession is the sort of like the natural response of this, because you adore God. He is holy, just, and good, or whatever attributes you're focusing on. You're praising him and adoring him, and now you are confronted, with your own sin. And so you confess. Repentance should be a daily thing, a regular thing for us. And so, you move from praising God for his greatness to confessing your sin to this great God who is a forgiving God, not just a holy God. And so, make sure that you work it in there, right? Like clearly address your particular corruptions, your temptations, where you're failing, not to beat yourself up, but to lay them before the Lord and turn away from them and commit your way to Jesus Christ again.
And then T, Thanksgiving. This is where you are giving thanks for what God has done. I mean, God has answered prayer. He has answered your prayer. And he has answered prayers you haven't even prayed.
Yeah.
He has supplied solutions for your needs that you didn't even know you needed.
Yep. He's on it. That's how well he knows you.
Yeah.
It's not that just people think like, oh, well, God has all knowledge. He's like a computer. It's like, no. He knows everything that can happen, that will happen, but he knows you. It's not just that he knows facts. And so, Thanksgiving, I love this. Grateful heart. We should be the most articulate thanksgivers on the planet, because we believe that every good gift in our life is from God, whether it's your job or listen, people make fun of this. If you're a Christian and you are playing football and your team wins, it is totally appropriate to thank God for the win, recognizing that all of the players worked together, the coach led the team, and so everybody shares in the accomplishment. You can still give praise to God because he's the giver of all good gifts. And if you lose, you praise God for the grace that you've received in defeat. You can you still point to God. It's not, people make fun of that. So,
What about S?
Supplication. This is where we tend to go in prayer, right? Lord, here's my needs. And there's nothing wrong with supplication. Let your requests be made known to God. Like, this is biblical. But outline your needs. Like, say, like, what are the current needs? What do you have? What are you desperate for in your life? What does your family need? What do your friends need? How can God provide for you in specific, tangible ways?
And for some people, they look at that and they say, well, look, aren't you just now trying to have a grocery list for Santa? Right? And see, the thing is like, we are called to make our requests known to God. And I think this shows a posture of dependence. Yeah. It shows a posture of dependence upon God. And as you make those requests known, it should be as God wills it, you give thanksgiving for what he provides. Yeah.
And this is not, like you said, well, first of all, Santa does not deliver groceries. You said a grocery list for Santa. Like,
I don't know.
When did Santa start delivering groceries? That doesn't even make any sense. Presents, but not groceries.
No. Once he got on Grubhub.
Oh, okay. Yeah, is that what it is?
I don't know. Sense. I couldn't think of the one that's the I don't know.
I literally just typed in groceries delivered because I was trying to think of it too while we're talking.
Yeah.
Instacart.
Oh, that's the one I was thinking of.
I couldn't think of it either, though.
Instacart.
All right. So, supplication. Listen, You can treat God like a vending machine, and that's totally inappropriate. But he wants you to ask for what you desire and what you need. So supplication is good. So listen, brother, use the Acts model. We encourage people to use a prayer book.
Yeah.
That's number 4. Use a prayer book, the one that we like, Jimmy.
Valley of Vision.
We use
Love it.
all the time.
All the
Super
time.
good. Listen, if you are having, this is really helpful, and this is why. You don't know how to pray or what to say, get a copy of Valley of Vision and read a prayer a day and let that prayer be your prayer. And I promise you, you will learn how to pray as you're working through that book. Great book. And they're short. It's just perfect.
Read a book on prayer, right?
Oh,
and there's plenty of great options. I mean, we've talked about actually, I think all of these.
Yeah.
Praying the Bible.
Jimmy's always with Donnie.
With Donnie's
Whitney book.
Well, actually, there's another book on here I like more.
Oh, yeah?
I like that one.
I like that one.
But I also, here, I'm gonna let Prayer by John Bunyan.
That's my
yours?
jam.
That's my jam, though, is A Praying Life. Paul Miller. And these are all very different from each other. That one was huge for me.
Yeah.
Huge for me.
There's basically a couple of paragraphs in one section that was super transformative for me in that book.
Yep.
And was it around the dinner table?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
exactly it. Exactly.
The whole book is worth that part. So these 3 books are very different from each other. If you're not a reader, right, maybe just try and grab Praying the Bible or A Praying Life. Don't feel like you have to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
But these 3 books are great and really, really helpful. Number 6, find a friend to pray with. Now, listen, just be honest. Like, obviously, it's got to be somebody who's like you can trust. But find a Christian brother or sister, like whatever, and then let them know, hey, listen, I'm struggling to pray. I want to pray more. And one of the things that pastors Jimmy and Joe told me to do was to find a buddy that I can pray with, once a week or whatever it is.
Will you be my PB? My praying buddy?
That's right. And boom, get it going. So you get yourself a PB.
You know what? We're not going to make that a thing. No one use that.
Yeah, PB.
No, that's a horror. We're not doing that.
Yeah, pray, but PB.
PB and J.
That's
praying buddy for Jesus with Jesus. Praying buddy to Jesus. I can't think of it.
PB,
Either way,
PB,
we're not doing
praying
it.
buddies and Jesus. Where 2 or more are gathered. Jesus is there. PB and J. PB and J.
I don't want to make that a thing. Don't make it a thing. Quit making fetch a thing.
What?
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Okay.
If you know, you know. Speaking of iconic movies that you should know.
Yeah.
That's a line from one.
Fetch?
Quit making fetch a thing.
What's it from?
Don't worry about it. Let's move on.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, you're going to Google
I'm not Googling anything. Do you? What's number 7?
Number 7, look for opportunities to pray, right? You've already mentioned a couple of those, like meals, right? So meals being one. For us, celebrations.
Yeah.
Celebrations is a time for prayer.
That's where gratitude comes in, right? Like, like this. Like, if you see everything as good as a gift, thankfulness.
I mean, we've made it a habit as a family that birthdays or celebrations is a time for prayer. Like we will, before we eat, and before we kind of move on, there is a time that we pray. I'll pray for one of my children, right? Or Michelle will be praying for me, or for Father's Day, we'll be praying for the fathers, like Mother's Day, all that. Like we use those as opportunities, and whoever's there it's great. But we don't change up. Like that's always a part of any time we celebrate. Anybody is praising God for them and the gifts that He has given them.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Emergencies, needs, bedtime.
Whatever. Like just like look for opportunities. There's a bunch of them, and just like offer up, whether it's in your own mind or verbally out loud or with your friends. Look for the opportunities and take them. And then number 8, and this is an important one because this really gets us to the gospel. Fail upward. Now that's an expression. Yeah, Jimmy's like, how's that? Because in business, in the business world, you oftentimes and in Southern Baptist political life, you'll oftentimes people who fail upward, which means they advance despite all of their failures. It's like they fail into somehow succeeding. And there's actually, if you use articles on this, like that are, there's a good way to fail upward and there are bad ways to fail upward. Yeah. But here what we're talking about is we're going to struggle and we're going to fail in our prayer, but we will continue to grow, right? Because this is all grace. We fail in prayer in tons of ways, but even when we do, God hears us. He still hears us.
Yep.
You talk like I fumble my words. God don't care.
Yeah.
God, it's annoying to you. It's not annoying to Jesus. So it's like, I get it. And that's something maybe we want to work through. But He hears your prayers. He accepts your prayers. Yeah. And so here, when you fail upward because God still hears it. Jesus is interceding for me. The Holy Spirit is interceding for me. Now I have confidence in my prayer because even when I blow it, I'm not really blowing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we know that God, and Jesus himself prayed for us in two ways, right? Like he prayed for our growth.
Yeah. Yes.
That we would grow in sanctification.
John 17, right?
Yep.
Sanctify them in truth. Yep. Your word is truth. The whole John 17 is him praying for us.
Yeah. And prayed for us as our substitute.
Yeah, that's right.
As our priest, as the one that stands in the gap, as our intercessor. Man, I couldn't think of the word.
Well, it's like I like thinking about it like that, right? That there are the two ways. Jesus prayed for us, like to be sanctified.
Yep.
Prayed for our unity and all that, but he also prayed for us, like on our behalf, as an intercessor, as a high priest, so that like his prayers are counted as our prayers.
Yep.
Like so, yeah, you do fail, but Jesus prayers were perfect, and his prayers are counted as your prayers. So I mean, again, it's just substitution, righteousness. Hey, you know what? Who didn't really believe in imputation?
Who's that?
Well, we'll talk about it on Tuesday.
Oh, really?
I think so. Jimmy, if people want to jump in on this, how do they jump in on this combo?
Well, you can follow us online on Instagram and Twitter at DocAdevo or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. We'd love for you to leave us some feedback there. Give us that. What? You don't want to?
I don't want feedback.
I want feedback.
I want 5 stars.
Well, that's when they go to the podcast player.
Yeah.
I'm talking about on Instagram and Twitter. And on Facebook.
I don't want feedback.
Why not? You don't want to hear how they
you know what? I want praise. How about adoration?
We would love your critical compliments.
Okay, I don't want that.
You don't want that?
No.
So, but if you want to support the podcast and get exclusive commercial-free content, you want to subscribe to Doctrine and Devotion All Access. Our subscribers get free weekly devotion meditations Monday through Friday and the Banter of Truth podcast on Tuesdays. To sign up, click the link on your podcast player for this episode that says support this podcast, or head on over to doctrineanddevotion.com/all access. Later.